In this video, we're going to be building a FlutterFlow CMS, and we're going to be exploring lots of very popular features of FlutterFlow. Namely, we're going to be talking about app structure and design, database structure and design. We're going to be leveraging user authentication with Google, a very powerful feature of FlutterFlow that you may want to incorporate in your apps. And we're going to be covering Firestore DB integration with sub-collections. This is a relatively new feature, and you definitely want to implement this in your own projects. Now, this is how our content management system CMS is going to work. We're going to have a home page, which essentially is going to be a list of articles. So think like a list of blog articles, a list of pieces of content. We are also going to have a detail page. So this is going to be open to everybody. This is going to be open to writers as well as just users consuming this content. They're going to be able to click on it and see the article in greater detail. So like a detail page. Next, we're going to have a login page for our writers where they're going to be redirected to a dashboard. And on this dashboard, we're going to have a bunch of features here. So lots of functionality here. The user is going to see a list of articles that they wrote or they're working on. They're going to be able to write a new article. They're going to be able to edit an existing articles. And they're going to be able to delete an article that they're working on or have published in the past. And this right here is the content management CMS schema. So we're going to have a users entity, a post entity, and a comments entity. And the idea is that a user can have many articles, and an article can have many comments. And so this is kind of the structure that we are looking at. And so let's go into FlutterFlow and create this app from scratch. We're going to call this app CMS test app. We're going to say create new. We're going to do next step. And now we need to add a Firebase to project. Now we do need Firebase because we're going to be using authentication. And so we need to go into Firebase and create a new project that we're going to be using for this specific app. So I'm going to go into Firebase. I'm going to say add a project. And I'm going to say this is going to be CMS test app. I'm going to hit continue, create project. All right, the project is created. We're going to hit continue. Next, we're going to hit this gear icon. I'm going to go to project settings. And we're going to copy this project ID. We need it for the app. So we're going to paste it here. Next, we're going to enable authentication because we're going to be using Google Authentication. And we're also going to create a user collection. This is an optional step, but this is going to greatly enhance your app. It's going to enhance the user experience because what's going to happen is that every time a user is going to log in, as I'm going to show you in a second, the system is going to create a new document inside this users collection for logged in users. So we're going to enable that as well. Next, we're going to hit connect. And as you can see, we're getting an error. It does not have access to this Firebase account. We need to add this email as an editor to this project. So we're going to go back here. We are going to hit this, users and permission. And we're going to add this user here. We're going to add a member. And we're going to put them in the editor role. We're going to hit done, add member. Okay, we're going to try this again. Now, as you can see, we are connected. We want to also generate config file. And as you can see, it says Firebase Setup complete. Another thing that we need to do is we need to select initial pages. So we have an entry page, which is a login page essentially, and we have a logged in page, okay? So the entry page is going to be a regular home page, okay? This is going to be the main home page where everybody will be able to see a list of posts, a list of articles, a list of content. And the logged in page is going to be the dashboard, okay? So we're going to come in here, we're going to click on this, and we're going to say homepage. We're going to create new. And this logged in page is going to be their dashboard, okay? Which is also going to have a list of articles, but they're going to have some extra functionality there. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say dashboard, create new. Okay, now we can start building. And if we go into settings and integrations and we go into authentication, we have these two pages set up here. And if we go to Firebase, we have that config set up here, okay? So we have a home page here, which is essentially going to have a list of posts, a list of articles. And then we're going to have a dashboard, which is going to say like, hello user, thanks for logging in. Here's what you can do on the dashboard. The next thing that we want to do is we want to go back to Firebase and we want to create a couple of posts, some comments, just to see if they're going to be displaying properly here. We're going to be also creating them from inside the app, but right now we want to create them manually so that we can see if they're displayed properly. So I'm going to go back to my Firebase console here, and I'm going to go into Build, and I'm going to go into Firestore Database here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a database, test mode, hit enable, and here's our new database here inside our project here. And we want to create a couple of collections, okay? We're going to create a post collection here, post collection, and we're going to create the first post, which is going to be a document. And we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to have a title here. I'm going to have the actual content, the actual body of the article. And let's say the title is going to be, this is title 1, content 1. All right, so now we have the post collection and we have one document, which is the post. So let's add another document here. Let's have 3 posts here. I like to do it in 3s. And we're also going to add some comments as a sub collection to one of these posts. So I'm going to add a new document here. This title is going to be title 2. Content is going to be content 2. I'm going to hit save. And let's do another document. Title is going to be title 3. Content 3. Hit save. Now we have 3 documents in the post collection. So let's go to the first document here that says title 1, content 1. Let's add a sub collection there, and we're going to call this comments. So we're going to have the first comment, and in the comments, we are going to have, typically you're going to have an author and the comment text there. But I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to put comment. It is comments after all. This is a comment for post 1, okay? And I'm going to add another comment here, add another document here, comment. Actually, I'm going to say content. This is a second comment for post 1. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to rename this comment to content just to keep it consistent. I'm just going to add a field. This is a comment for post 1. All right. So now if we go back to our posts, we have 3 documents, and one of these documents has 2 comments. So this is the second post, the third one, and this is the first one. And we can go to comment sub collection, and we have 2 documents. We can click on a document, and it says here content, post 1, post 1. This is a comment. This is a second comment. We can say maybe this is a first comment. All right, so now we have the posts, and now we can go and see if the ad works or not. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the home page, and we're going to go to the hierarchy here, and this column here is what you want to be controlling. So first, let's change the title here. I'm just going to say home page, and you can also change how it looks. You can center it. You can, this is fine for now. And let's go to this column. We're going to add a new widget that's going to be a list view. And inside the list view, we want to add the actual content, how we're going to be displaying the posts, the summaries, right? Because this is the home page. Now, we can create it ourselves. As always, you can just put a text, or you can start with a container and just kind of draw it yourself. But I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to the templates, and I'm going to see if I can find a cool template that's going to work well with our post summary. So how about this card right here? Okay, that looks pretty good. It's got a tag, and it's got a title, and it's got the contents. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this title instead of this tag. So I'm going to delete the tag, and I'm going to drag this title a little bit higher. And now we have the title, and we have the content, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to go to our database, and we need to configure the schema. We already have the users collection, and this users collection is going to create a collection of users, and it's also going to fill in their information when the user is logged in through Google, which I'm going to show you in a second. But we also need to create a posts collection. Okay, we're going to say posts, and we're going to say comments. Comments is going to be a sub collection that we're going to configure later. So we're just going to say post comments. I'm going to configure it in a second. But for posts, what do we need? We need a content and title. We're going to say add field. I'm going to say title is going to be a string. It's not a list. And content is going to be a string, not a list. And then we're going to go into comments, and we're going to do the same thing. I believe it's just Let's go in here. Let's go to the first comment. And it's just content here. We're going to say content. It's a string. It's not a list created. Okay. So now we have the post here and we have the comment. So now we can go back to our design and we can actually start displaying this data here. Okay. So we can come in here, hierarchy, list view, query type is going to be a query collection. It's going to be posts, list of documents. We're going to say confirm. And now it's going to be displaying. We have 3 posts and it should be displaying the three of these cards here. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure it's displaying the right content. So I'm going to click on this text. I'm going to go scroll up, set from variable. I'm going to go to post document. I'm going to say title. This thing is going to be set from variable, post documents, content. Okay, so now it's going to be displaying our content. This is going to be a home page. So now we have the home page and hopefully it's going to be displaying the titles. Let's try it out. Let's do a test run. All right, so there's the app and there's our content. Okay, we have title 2, content 2. It's in random order because we're not sorting it by anything. We can fix that later. Now that we see it's working fine, we're getting the data, it's showing up correctly. Let's go in and start building out this app. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to do the authentication. We need to first enable our authentication. So we're going to go to build. We're going to go into authentication. Okay. We're going to get started and we're going to enable this Google provider here. We're going to say Google, enable, and hit save here. And now we have this Google provider here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the column and I'm just going to add a button. Okay, we're going to have a button. I'm going to drag it above the list view. And this button, the idea is going to have a link to their dashboard, to the logged in area. Okay, so I'm going to just rename it, just say dashboard. And obviously you can position it anywhere that you want. You can position it to the left, to the right. It's really, really up to you. I'm just going to keep it simple and I'm just going to have it how it is. Maybe change the color a little bit so it's different than kind of the app bar. So we're going to use maybe this color. Change the color. All right, so something like this. Another thing that you can do is you can do elevation. This elevation, so I put 3, that gives it a nice kind of drop shadow, which is a really cool effect. And so now we have this dashboard here. This dashboard is going to log in the user and redirect them to another page, namely this page called dashboard. So let's go back here. Let's click on the button. Click on the action here. We're going to say add action and we're going to type authentication. Firebase authentication, login, auth provider. We're going to say Google, create user document. Yes. User collection. Yes. So once we run the app, it's going to display this Google screen where if they're not logged in, they're going to log into their Google account. If they're already logged in, like as in my case, I'm simply going to pick the account that I want to be logged in. And then it's also going to create a new user collection here with the user data. So let's see if that works. So we have it, this button, auth login Google, etc., etc. Let's go back here. All right, so here's our app. We're going to hit dashboard here. And we're getting an error. It says this domain is not authorized to run this application. We need to add it to our authorized domains. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Firebase project, authentication, sign-in method, and we have Google. We need to add a new domain. And the domain is app.flutterflow.io, app.flutterflow.io. We're going to add it here. And now this is part of the authorized domains. We're going to go back here. And now it's displaying my Google accounts. So I'm going to log in as one of the accounts here. And now I've been redirected to the empty dashboard page. Now, just to refresh your memory so that you understand how this authentication flow works, we have a user who is initially not logged in as far as the app is concerned. They try to access the app. They try to access a button that requires them to be logged in. They are redirected to a login authenticator provider. Okay, and this could be Google, it could be Facebook, Twitter, it could be third party, it could be just, email and password, it could be a phone provider. It doesn't really matter. And this provider authenticates them. And after that, and after successfully authenticating them, it tells the app, this person is perfectly okay, you can show them this content. And this is where they're redirected to the page that we specified as the initial page for the logged in users initially in the app. and then they get to see the page. And this is exactly what happened here. They are redirected to the dashboard page, okay? Now, if we go back to our Firebase project here, and we go to Firebase database, we are going to see this users collection. We did not see that before. It was created by the FlutterFlow app. So we have the users collection, and we have the information from my Gmail account that I was using to log in. So here we have the created time, display name, email, photo URL. This is my profile URL. And we have the UID. This UID here is actually the document ID, okay? And next time I will log in as this user, it's not going to do anything, okay? It's not going to change this data because this data already exists. But if a new user comes in and tries to log in, they're going to create a new user document essentially. And what's nice about this UID is that now I can go into posts and I can actually reference that user because these posts were created by somebody, and I can add a new field and I can reference that user. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go to this user right here. I'm going to come here. I'm going to copy this user's path, my own user. I'm going to go to posts, and for the first post, I'm going to add a field here, and I'm going to say user. Okay, and this user is going to be a reference, and I'm going to paste that reference, and I'm going to do it for maybe 2 articles. Just to keep it interesting, okay? We're going to do it for the first article, content 1, and we're going to do it for content 2. Content 3 is not going to have a user, and so it's not going to get displayed when we're going to be displaying the content for the right user on the dashboard. So now let's go into our post number 2. Let's add the user field there. It's going to be a reference. Okay, we're going to add it right here. And so we have this post has the user who owns this post, who created this post. And then the second post has the user. The third post does not. So just to keep it interesting. And now we can go to our app. We can go to dashboard. And here we can say something like, welcome back. And we can say the username. And for that, we're going to do set from variable. We're going to say combine text. We're going to have a text right here. We're going to say welcome back. And here, we're going to say text2 is going to be from a variable and it's authenticated user. And we can have display name. We have user ID. So we're going to do display name. And now it should hopefully say welcome back, the name of the user. Okay, so that's what it's going to say. And so let's quickly run this app and make sure this works fine. And so there you have it. We just ran the app and we're seeing welcome back, James. Now we can make this smaller. We can change how it looks, but it is showing the logged in username. And as you can see, we're logged in. All right, so at this point, we have this regular homepage working and we have the login page working. We still need to kind of fix it up a little bit, just show the right content there, but we're going to get there in a second. But we still need to do this and all of this. And so I propose we do this first, where we're going to display the detailed page, the actual content. So when they click on it, they're going to see the whole article for everybody. And then we're going to come back here and finish all of these sections. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to say post detail. I'm going to create a new page here. And I'm also going to create the content here. Namely, we're going to create the new article page and the edit article page. This is not a page. This is simply an action. And this thing right here is basically the same thing. When they log in, they see all this content. So we need a new page where they can create a new article as well as edit an article. So let's go back here and create that page. I'll do post edit. I'm going to hit create new. And I'm going to create a new post. Post new, create new. So now we have our home page. We have the dashboard, which is going to be basically like a home page, except it's going to be for the logged in user. We have the detail of the post, and we have the new post and the edit existing post, okay? And so now let's go ahead and do this page, and then we'll do the rest of these pages. So we have post detail here. And so here we can show the title of the actual post. And here we can actually have a card that's going to display the post content. We're no longer going to have the list view, just the one post card here. Now, since this is a post detail, it's going to be getting data from the other page. We need to go and create parameters for this page. So if we go to the hierarchy, we choose the post detail at the top, and we have parameters. So what we're going to do is we're going to add parameter. And the parameter we're going to be passing is the document ID of the post. So this is going to be a post doc ref, post document reference. We're going to say this is going to be a document reference. Collection type is post. We're going to say confirm. And now let's design our page, okay? We're gonna come in here. We are gonna go back to our templates. We're gonna scroll down. We're just gonna use the same template that I used before because that's perfect for us. So we're gonna delete this tag, drag and drop this above the divider. This is gonna be that. And obviously this text here is gonna expand, okay? So if we have more, this is the sample. If I copy and paste it, you see how it's gonna expand. And what this means is that for this page, it's perfect how it is. But for the other pages, we do not want it to expand. So what I'm going to quickly do, go back to our homepage, go back to content, scroll down, and you can have max characters allowed. I'm just going to say 100, and we're going to do ellipsis. So when it displays 100 characters, it's going to have those 3 dots to show that there's more content, okay? Now, while we're on this page, what I want to do is I want to go to hierarchy, and I want to go to our container. And if you click anywhere in the container, we want it to redirect to the detail page and passing the document ID. So I'm going to come to action. I'm going to say add an action. We're going to do navigation, navigate to post detail. We're going to pass our document reference. Post document reference is the only one that's available, okay? So now if they click anywhere, they're going to be redirected to the post detail page with the document reference, okay? We go back here. Post detail. This is kind of what we have here. This is where the post is going to show up. And we almost forgot. We want to also display the comments. Okay, and this is going to be actually a list view now. And so what I want to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to double this container. I'm going to duplicate it. It's here. And this is where the comments are going to be. So we have the second container. Okay, we have the column again. And so we want to go to the column and we want to say list view. Let's add a list view. Let's put it up on top. We don't need this anymore. We're going to go to list view and we are going to add that card inside the list view, card 9, and we're going to delete this one here. Now, before we can display the data, we need to pull our post document. We're going to go to post detail. We're going to go to the query section. We're going to say document from reference. We're going to say posts, and we're going to say post document reference, confirm. Now we pulled up that post. Now, in order to display the comments, FlutterFlow made it super easy now. We just simply need to go to the list view. We are going to say this is going to be a query collection, just like a regular collection, except we're querying a sub-collection. We're going to come in here. We're going to say comments. Value source is from variable, and the variable is going to be our post document reference here, okay? List of documents, and we want list of documents here. We're going to say confirm, confirm. And now we're going to have a list of comments here, which is a sub-collection. And we are going to have the main post content here, which is the main document here. It's a single document, okay? And now we can start to substitute the variables here, okay? This is the title, set from variable, post document, title. And we can also display the title here as well. Post document title. This is going to be the content. Post document content. We don't even need this tag because it doesn't have a title. It's just content. So we're going to delete this tag here. We're going to delete the divider. And we're going to delete this. And this is going to be the comment. Set from variable, comments, document, content. Okay, so now we have the title of the post, the content of the post, and then the various comments related to that post. Okay? And so let's run this app and see if this Spark right here works. Okay? So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to run the app. All right, so here's the app. This is the home page. And so if you click, let's say, on Title 1, we are redirected to Title 1. There's Title 1, Content 1, and these are the 2 comments. This is the first comment for Post 1. This is the second comment for Post 1. Now, if we click on Title 2, we don't have any comments. And if we go into Title 3, we also do not have any comments. And that is because if we go back to our database here, we can see that only Posts number 1 has comments. Okay, as you can see, there's the comments collection. The other 2 do not have any comments. And so it looks like it's working perfectly. It's working exactly how it's supposed to work. And the sub-collection functionality in FlutterFlow makes things a lot easier. Now, one thing that we need to do is when we click on the detail page, we need a button to go back. So that's very easy to do. We're going to do that. And after that, we're going to complete this app by finishing the new article, edit article, and delete article, as well as showing the articles in the dashboard. that are for that specific user only. So let's go into the post detail and let's add that back button. So we're going to go in here. We're going to say page title. There's the back button. And we can actually have this button go back. So we're going to click on this icon button here. We're going to go to the action editor. We're going to add an action, navigate back. Okay, and that's going to go back to the home page. And this should be the title. We're going to go in here, post document title. Okay, and so now when the user clicks on it, they're going to go back to the home page. Next, let's create a list of articles for that specific user. So if you recall, we have 3 articles here, 3 posts. 2 of them have a user attached to them, but 1 doesn't. So number 1 has a user, number 3 does not, and number 2 does have a user. So that means if I log in, I'm going to see 2 articles that are tied to me. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to add a list view again. And we're going to add that card there, card 9, I believe. Card 9, there we go. And we're going to display the list of articles, okay? So let's configure the list view here. Let's go in here. Query type is going to be a query collection. We're going to say posts, and we want to filter it by the user. So we have this filter, field name, title, and content, but we forgot to add the user field. So we're going to go back to our database. We have users here, we have posts here, and we need to add a reference to the user field. So we're going to add a user right here. This is going to be a document reference, a reference to users, not a list. And now it matches our schema perfectly, okay? So if we go into settings, we can also validate the schema here to make sure it's right. And as you can see, it's successful. And so now we can go back to our UI. We can build that schema again, query collection. We want posts. We want to filter them by user equal to from variable. We're going to say authenticated user, user reference. This is the user that was authenticated. We're going to say confirm, and now it's a list view. Now let's quickly configure the fields. I'm going to delete that tag. I'm going to drag and drop this divider above. We're going to say this is going to be the title, post document title. This is going to be a post document content. And now we should see only the posts that are tied to our user ID. It says welcome back. Now, before we forget, it's good practice to add a logout button. Okay, it's always a good idea. You want the user to log out. And so I'm going to keep things simple. We have a column here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button right here. It's at the bottom. I want it at the top. Drag and drop it, and now it's at the top. And this button is going to say log out. Maybe a little bit smaller, maybe 100. And let's change the color as well. To keep things different, let's maybe make it red. Something like this. Let's add a elevation. That looks nice. And let's add an action. Action is going to be log out. So we're going to go auth, Firebase Authentication, log out. Okay? So if they click here, they're going to get logged out. They're going to be redirected back to the main page. But if not, they're going to stay here. Now, while we're here, we want to add a bunch of action stuff, right? We want the user to edit their existing posts, and we also want them to delete, and we also maybe want them to create a new post as well. So we're going to go to this container here, and as you can see, it's arranged vertically because we have a column. And so what I did is instead of having this one column, I added a row with 2 columns, and that way we can have the content here, and then here is where we're going to have the various buttons, such as edit this post or delete this post. The new post is going to be up on here because it's not associated with any specific post. So I'm going to have 2 buttons here. We're going to say a button here where I'm going to do an icon button, and I'm going to have another icon button. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a row here, and I'm going to create 2 buttons side by side. They're going to be icon buttons. And these 2 buttons, this is going to be an edit. This is going to be delete. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go right here instead of add, maybe something, yeah. That looks nice. It's a little bit big. That looks better. Maybe 20. And this is going to be delete. Click on this, delete. Also make it 20. What is this? Button size. Let's make it 40. And let's make this 40 and 20. All right, so that looks great. And so now we have their post. They can edit it and they can delete it. And we also need another button for a new post. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to duplicate it. And now we have two buttons. Actually, I want to align them side by side. So I'm going to add a row. I'm going to come in here, put it inside. And now we have two buttons aligned side by side. You can actually align it however you want. So maybe something like this. This may be a logout. So something like this. And this might be new. So I'm going to say this is new. And this is going to get redirected to their to the new post page action. We're going to edit this action. And we're going to say this is navigate to. We're going to say post new. Okay, and this is still logout, so that's fine. And now we're going to say this is action. This is going to be an edit. So we're going to go in here, add an action, navigate to, edit, post edit. We're going to pass parameters and all that. And this is going to be delete. Click on this. We're going to search for database. Database, we're going to say delete document. And reference is going to be the post document. Post document reference. Okay? But before we go any further, let's see if this works. Let's see if the documents show up properly. So let's run this real quick. All right, so here's the login page. Let me go into the dashboard. Let me log in. And now I'm in the dashboard now. As you can see, I only see two posts. Because as I said before, post number 3 does not have a user associated with them. And that is why it's not showing here. Now, we don't have the new one yet. We have the logout working. We have this working, but we do not have the edit working. And so if I click on this, that deleted the title 1. So if I go back here, you will see that post only has 2 posts now. Title 3 and title 2. So that works perfectly. Logout works. New redirects to new. This is the new page that we need to do, so that's fine. Edit redirects to edit, but we do not have the page just yet, and that is something we need to do. So we still need to do a couple of pages. We need to do the new page and the edit page, and that's pretty much it. So here's the new post page. I'm going to come in here, new post, and we are going to go in here to the hierarchy, add a card 9, except this is not going to be text anymore. This is going to be a field. Gonna go to the column, add this form element text here. This is where they're gonna enter their new article that they want. And this is gonna be the title, text. This is gonna be the title here. We're gonna put it above the divider, delete the text. And this is gonna be the title. So we're gonna put a hint there, title. This is gonna be body. We wanna change the field name. I'm just gonna say input title, input body. And we're gonna need to have a button. I'm gonna search for a button. Gonna add a button right here. Maybe center this button. Actually, let's add a row. Let's add this button inside the row. Gonna center this button here. And maybe I want a padding. Maybe 20. That looks good. And I want this to be save. I'm gonna say save. And that's gonna create the post content, okay? So we're gonna say save. We are going to go to our action here, add an action, search for database, create document, posts, add fields, title, content, and user. So title is going to be from variable, widget state, input title. Content is going to be from variable, widget state, input body. And user is going to be authenticated user reference. And so now when they hit save, when they create all this, it's going to create a new post and assign it to the logged in user, to the authenticated user. Let's add the edit action as well. So we're going to go in here, the dashboard, and when they click on this edit action, it's going to redirect them to the edit page. I'm going to go to post edit. Next, we want those edit fields here. So we have column, just going to keep it simple. We are going to search for form. We're going to search for text field here, duplicate it, and then add a button. Going to add a button at the bottom. This is going to be actually, so this is going to display the existing text here. So we're going to come in here. We are going to say, initial value is going to be the actual, the title, and this is going to be, initial value is going to be the content. And then, they'll be able to modify this data. And then when they click on it, it's going to update it. Okay. So we're going to come in here. action, add action, database, update document. Reference is this reference of the documents, set the fields. Title is going to be from variable, widget state, title. Content is going to be from variable, widget state, content. And that's it. We're not changing the user, so the user reference stays the same. We're only updating title and content. We may want to set the title here as well. So I'm going to say post document title so that they can see what they're updating, the name of the document. And this has a button to update the content. So let's go back to our pages. We have the home page dashboard. We have the new one here. And so that is set up. We have the detail, which is showing the detail with the back button. We have the post new. We have the post edit. And so now let's make sure that we are passing the right data from the dashboard. We're going to go to the dashboard, go to on the edit, and we want to pass the parameter. So we're passing the reference. We want to make sure that we're passing the right reference here. This deletion works, edit works, new works, logout works. So now it should hopefully work. So let's run the app, see what happens. All right, so here's the app. We are already logged in. So I can hit edit and I can edit. So let's say I want to set it to title 2 and content 2 new. This button should be submit. We're going to say submit. And now if you refresh the app, we see that it has been updated. Delete works. I don't want to delete it because I'm going to delete the only one. We already tested that. If we go into new and I say this is new 1, content, new 1, save. We need to redirect back to the dashboard, which we're going to do. So if I refresh the app, we have the new content here, okay? So new works, edit works, logout works, delete works, everything works. The only thing that still doesn't work is that when we do new and submit the button, it does not redirect to the dashboard. And same thing with edit, submit the button does not redirect to the dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So we have new, and that opens post new. We need this to be redirected to the dashboard. So we're going to open the action flow editor. We're going to add a new action, and this action is going to say navigate. And same thing for the edit. Action flow editor, add an action. We're going to say navigate back. Okay, let's run the app. All right, so here's the app. Let's say we want to create a new one. Title new 2, title content new 2, save, and we are redirected. And there it is. If we want to edit it back, we're going to say 100, let's say, just so that we know. This should be obviously submit or save, and we are redirected. And so there you go. That's how you build a custom management system, CMS, with FlutterFlow using Google Authentication and Firebase Firestore DB sub-collection. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think or what kind of video you want to see next. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and definitely make sure you become a Patreon subscriber. I'm going to be sharing with you lots and lots of interesting content on that page. And so if you're interested in no code, you're going to find a lot of valuable information, a lot of valuable content on that Patreon subscribers page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the future video.